Hello, Beatles fans. By demand of, well, I don't know who, we are back, and with some more Capitol Beatles fun. I'm Jacob. Matt's there with the records we're going to be talking about. Matt, have you listened to these records ever before?
No, I've never listened to Beatles 6. I think I probably listened to Yesterday and Today. This is my dad's faithful copy though. But I know all the songs because they're basically songs from Beatles for Sale, Help, Rubber Soul, and Revolver.
And for OG Beatles fans, US fans, these are the records that they heard over and over and over again. So I don't mean to diminish them at all, but our generation of Beatles fans, just like we listened to the UK versions, because those were what were put on CDs until that collection you have, I believe. And so this is a very interesting collection. I did listen to these right before we decided we were going to do it, just to make sure I knew all the tracks and to refresh them a bit. They are a very interesting collection of tracks, so I'm very excited. This might be the most interesting matchup we've done. Which one do you want to take lead on? And I can read the rest off. I don't have props like you this time.
If you don't mind, I'll do Yesterday and Today.
I will do Beatles 6. Which I would ask if we had more time how it adds up to 6, but maybe another time. People can Google that. Oh, right there. So yeah, there's all these records I've never seen before, like Beatles Story, the early Beatles, which maybe they'll be worth digging up if we run out of content at some point. But there we are, Beatles 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 by my count, actually.
Yeah, I don't think this is anything here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it is 7. You're right. Unless they didn't count Help as a studio album and just a soundtrack.
But is it whatever you were scheming, Capitol, it didn't work. Beatles 6 starts with Kansas, a track we've talked before. We've talked about all these more or less. Kansas City, Hey Hey, My. And in the past, I've dismissed the cover versions. And I don't mean to do that because I know these are pretty good covers. But when you're talking about some of these great original Beatles tracks, usually right away a cover is like not going to cut it. But what is the first track on Beatles Yesterday and Today?
Drive My Car, the opening track off of Rubber Soul.
And last time, neither of us, I think, went with Drive My Car. We called it kind of childish. But this time, I'm going to go with Beatles Yesterday and Today. After doing my defense of the covers, I'm going to be like, no, I'm not going to pick a cover over an original. What's track 2 on Beatles Yesterday and Today?
It's I'm Only Sleeping, which is a Revolver track from the UK Revolver. John track, great John track.
Yeah, we haven't talked Revolver yet, but both Revolver fans. 8 Days a Week, a song I underrated, I think, on our last recording, even though I did eventually give it the win. You reminded me that it is pretty great. And I'm going to go with 8 Days a Week this time. How about you?
Yeah, I think you must be confusing me with somebody else. I actually don't really like 8 Days a Week all that much. You must be thinking of a conversation you had with somebody else or another song because, yeah, I always think 8 Days super overrated. I think I called it a poor man's All My Lovin'. A poor man's All My Lovin'. Yeah, I don't really like that song. I like the intro.
Maybe that was it.
I'm Only Sleeping mops the frickin' floor with 8 Days a Week. I love that backwards guitar. It's so trippy. That John voice, how he's got it doubled too. That when I wake up early, it's got a swing to it. Even though it's a ballad, it's got kind of a swing to it. There's that middle section too that gets up tempo. Freaking love that song. Easy. That's an easy Yesterday today for me.
I must be thinking of a different song, but still 8 Days a Week. I like the dun, dun, dun. I like the and I like the harmonies in it. It's iconic Beatles. Track 3 is You Like Me Too Much. What is that originally from?
It's from Help.
It's from Help. Okay, so we talked about it.
The George song.
Oh, maybe that's why I'm struggling to remember what the heck it is. What is track 3 on Yesterday and Today?
Song you despise, Nowhere Man. I'm just kidding.
Oh no, I love Nowhere Man. Okay,
Who
that's an
doesn't?
easy one.
Yeah. Yep.
That's an easy one. Track 4 though on Beatles Yesterday and Today is
Another Revolver track. This one, I should have said Nowhere Man comes off of Rubber Soul.
oh,
Track 4 off of Yesterday and Today is another Revolver track, and that's Dr. Robert.
oh, Dr. Robert. I don't think it's on my yeah, so that's why it's not on my US copy of Revolver. Um,
Nor is
this
I'm
one
Only
I
Sleeping. I don't think
this is
I'm
one
only.
I only heard because recently because it's on Past Masters. It's called Bad Boy, and I want you to, Matt. I know you want to. Um, what's the part of Bad Boy that everyone would remember?
Oh, Junior, behave yourself.
Other than that, I believe it's a pretty. It's another one of those Beatles covers. Yeah. Um, what is track? Oh, it's against Dr. Roberts. I'll go
Yeah,
with Dr. Roberts.
I'll go with Dr. Robert too. Not one of my favorite tracks
Yeah.
off of Revolver, but yeah, I mean, you taking you farting right now would beat Bad Boy. Number five off
Uh,
one. Do you want me to go with this one? Number five off of this one is Yesterday.
no.
Oh,
Again, I know you think Yesterday is just a Paul song. Um, but this is a song we both said we liked off Beatles for Sale. I Don't Want to Spoil the Party. And so I imagine you're going with Beatles 6 here. I'm going to go with Yesterday because be it more of a Paul song than a Beatles song, it's still one of the greatest songs ever written. As much as I love I Don't Want to Spoil the Party.
well, you got to understand when I went when Yesterday lost in our last track versus track, it was against that great George song "If I Needed Someone" off of
Yeah.
Rubber Soul, and I like that song better than I like "I Don't Want to Spoil the Party." However, I'm still going to go with Beatles.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with "I Don't Want to Spoil the Party." Yeah, you even said when you listened to Beatles for Sale for the track versus track on that particular album that was a song that really stuck out as like a hidden gem, and I feel the
Yeah.
same way about it.
One of the most underrated Beatles songs, but it's not Yesterday, which may be one of the more overrated Beatles songs, but yeah. Another cover, it's track number 6 on Beatles 6. It is Words of Love, Buddy Holly and the Crickets against.
That's going up against a cover as well. Ringo singing "Act Naturally" off the Help album.
And last episode, or whenever we did it, I remember saying it was my favorite Ringo track. I like it much better than Words of Love. So that's my vote for Beatles Yesterday and Today.
Yeah, I don't like really either of these songs that much. I mean, I kind of want to say Buddy Holly because his last concert
It,
was in my neck of the woods, right?
and it's a good song.
It
And
is
the
a good
Beatles
song.
cover it so if you don't like Act Naturally,
Yeah, it's just kind of a boring track though. They sing it really well. The harmonies are really tight on that song. But yeah, I'm gonna give it to Goofy Ringo. Just it's
yeah,
his theme song. You said that
yeah,
earlier. I'll give it
yeah.
to Act Naturally.
Alrighty then. What's track 7?
All right, so this is actually the start of side 2 for Yesterday and Today, and this is "And Your Bird Can Sing," which is a
Ooh.
John Revolver track, twin guitars.
Track 7 is What You're Doing. Another good song. Um, I'm actually going to go with What You're Doing. I like And Your Bird Can Sing. You probably have picked up on harmonies or instrumentation, something on it to make me feel like a fool. But what you're doing?
No, I'm shocked that you went with What You're Doing, and I'm gonna go with What You're Doing as well. I know that people think "And Your Bird Can Sing" is like a top tier Revolver song, and there's some cool guitar works that cool guitar work that goes on, but I think the song is really overrated. I think John even said like it was filler. He didn't think too highly of it either, but for whatever reason, people just go nuts over that song, and they're like, "Dr. Robert's crap, but "And Your Bird Can Sing" is." You know what? I actually think I like Dr. Robert a little better than "And Your Bird Can Sing." Not
I,
much.
I I like the singing of the on that song, but I like the harmonies and what you're doing. So I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with
Yep,
that.
me too.
Oh, this is okay. I'm gonna have you do track 8 first.
All right. Track 8 on Yesterday and Today is "If I Needed Someone," which was the Yesterday Slayer from our last track versus track.
And it's gonna win easily against this I think it's a cover. I didn't actually look. It's on Past Masters. It's yes, it is. It's a B-side to something, I presume.
Yeah, I think it's an original actually. I always
Oh,
call
is it? It's so dull though. It's a
it poor
bad
man's
song.
it's poor man's this boy, right? It's got that
Yeah.
barbershopping thing going on. I like it, but yeah, no, it's not going to beat If I Needed Someone.
No, no. And it's a song I don't know if I'd ever heard before. Yes, it is. Maybe on because I never owned Past Masters, and when it came across, I'm like, what is this? Maybe it's played on the Beatles station or something. But I'm like,
I used to think the song was called Red is the Color That My Baby Wore. I used to think that was the name of the song because Yes It Is such a forgettable title, right?
yes, it is. Yes,
Uh-huh.
it is.
But they keep
Yeah,
talking
I
about
guess
how
if
red.
you like barbershop, it's fine.
Right.
Track 9, it's one I think I probably made the mistake of saying was a Paul vocal in a previous episode because I just assume if it's a Little Richard, then it's Paul doing it. John sings Dizzy Miss Lizzy, and he sings the heck out of it. It's a much better cover than I remembered, and that's why I did the whole cover precedent to this whole thing because I'm like, oh, I think I like Dizzy Miss Lizzy, but is it against a very good original?
Yeah, dude, this is not a fair fight at all. So we actually haven't talked about this song at all yet. This is a single, but it's actually off of Past Masters 2, which we haven't even touched. And it's We Can Work It Out, which is just a
Ooh,
fantastic Paul
yeah.
song. So,
Got to see things my way.
yeah.
Yeah, it's easy. Yesterday and Today. A great album, though. Like, Yesterday and Today is just great. Like, a good collection of songs. Um, Open Up Your Eyes, Girl. Tell Me What You See. Track 10 on Beatles 6.
This could be an interesting one. The penultimate track on this is another favorite of yours, What Goes On, the Rubber Soul
What
Country
goes
Ringo
on?
tune.
So so it didn't win the Ringo matchup. We actually, they faced off our last matchup. It is a Ringo song I like. I think I like Tell Me What You See, though, better. I know you like that Ringo track.
Yeah, I do. I think it went up against Act Naturally now that I think of it. I think
Yeah,
you
it
did.
was two Ringos against each other, and that's why I'm like, I have to go with Act Naturally.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't really like country Ringo, and there's so many country Ringo songs. You know, these first few albums, pretty much everything Ringo sings is country-ish, except for like "I Want to Be Your Man." So yeah, What Goes On is on my favorite Beatles album, Rubber Soul. Tell Me What You See is a Paul tune. It's kind of got this like
it's a little
Latin.
sleepy. Yeah.
It's a little Latin-y, kind of like "And I Love Her," but "And I Love Her" is 1,000 times better. Yeah, man, I'm going to give it to What Goes On.
Sure. I could have gone either way. I just went with where my gut was. Track 11 is another Beatles for Sale one we really liked. Closing out the album is Every Little Thing. Boom, boom, with the timpanis, I believe.
Mhm.
What does Yesterday and Today end with?
Another song we haven't talked about yet, the double A side to "We Can Work It Out." It's "Day Tripper," and this sucks, man, because oh my god, I got to think on this one. How about
Day
you?
Tripper is never a track that's I can appreciate it, but it's never been one of my favorites for whatever reason. And every time I hear Every Little Thing, I'm like, oh, maybe Beatles for Sale is one of the great ones, and then some of the other tracks, diminish it. So, for me, I'm going with 6.
Okay. Um,
You can bring balance to the force right now.
yeah, they're very close. So I'm gonna give it to Yesterday and Today because of that middle section. When they start building the harmonies and the tambourine's going, and then it recapitulates back into that riff. Bum, ba, 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 ba. There's just a
That
lot
is a
going
good
on.
riff.
Yeah, it is a good riff, and that's why they played about 1,000 times in the song, right? But that's very close because Every Little Thing maybe is like my favorite new obsession on Beatles for Sale. So I really wanted to give it to that, but it couldn't beat Day Tripper, unfortunately. Not today anyway. Maybe next week if we did this again.
I think half of the tracks, whenever we do this, I'm like, I could have gone the other way. All right, so I did 6 to 5. I seem to always spread them out a little more generously. For Beatles, Yesterday and Today, slight edge.
Yeah, 9-3, and honestly, now I'm looking at it, it could have been 10-2 because there was a coin flip there on the Andrew Bird Can Sing versus What You're Doing, but I went with What You're Doing, but yeah, nine to
Yeah.
three.
And like I said, these are some of the more interesting eras of the Beatles. And when you have like tracks from three of the great albums, like all in one, I could see why that was a very popular one with people growing up. Thanks for indulging us youngins talk about the albums you grew up with, Beatles Capitol fans. We will be back.